Thumb, activate!
What's going on? I'm Gazbot for Action Activate, and if I'm Gazbot for Action Activate, then with me, as always, is this gentleman.
It is I. It is the big dog, rocking Action Activate Season 1 that we reviewed a show. It was Beast Morphers. So.
Did you forget what it's called for a minute?
No, I forget where I was going. It's been a time for both of us, some more than others, but we're here. We're here to review Episode 3 of... Cosmic Fury. I almost said Mystic Force. I'm like, that's not right.
We'll get back to Mystic Force eventually. Some people asked when we're getting back to it. We're getting back to it after Cosmic Fury as well.
Which is eventually.
Yes. So this is episode 3. I was going to say Planet Eridus because that's what I have up on the screen, but that's not the title. It was, what is it? Off Grid, because now they're on the other planet, which is Eridus.
So obviously with Cosmic Fury, they pick up where they left off. I thought this was a good episode. It has elements that weren't my favorite, where they fight worm monsters on this planet they're stuck on. And it reminded me of the Turbo movie when they fight those little like turtle things on the boat, but not like in my favorite way.
I could see that. It seemed like a weird side quest sort of thing happening. And like it's cool they have Billy working on like, I'm going to figure some stuff out. Yeah, but then it's just like, it did seem like filler. Like as much as I talk about this season not having filler, and it's not that bad, but in a video game, that's what it felt like in a video game where you land in the new area and you got to find the key and talk to your next contact. But first, go in the desert and fight these things, and it'll never really matter or go anywhere. But go do that.
Exactly. We see obviously kind of the not realization, but like we see here that. Javi's having a hard time with his new arm. Okay, I'm not saying that's not something that we need to talk about, but of all the things that they have going on, him playing guitar with a robot arm when they're 26 million light years away doesn't seem high on the list for me. I don't know.
I agree. I feel like the trauma of not having his real arm and having trouble with it should hit, but not at this moment. I feel like once the crisis is over, it's like, oh, my arm, but like in this moment, like really, even if he had his arm, should he be playing guitar right now? Like,
or it should be another thing where like somebody's like, oh, how you been doing? I can't believe you lost your arm. No, like we need to worry about getting off this planet because people need us. Like it seemed, I don't know. Kind of like you said, it was out of the place that I feel like it should have been in. It needs to happen, just not right now.
Even if you had him say something like, it's bothering me, but I can't focus on that now, or something like that. Yeah.
How are you doing? Fern's trapped here and she doesn't have any powers, but neither do we.
And this is, we talked about when we did the full review of how Fern was like, okay, I'm trying to help. I'm dealing with all this very well. What can I do? And just being treated like a helpless little thing, basically.
Yeah. Like, don't worry. The Rangers got it.
Yeah.
I know we don't have powers, but you have also not shown in the last 2 seasons that you're capable of anything other than hanging around, so don't you fret.
Right, but it's also a thing where the other Rangers aren't treating Fern this way.
Yeah,
it's only her girlfriend, which makes it kind of worse in a way. It's like, you love her, you want to protect her, but like, shouldn't you trust and respect her more than the other people? Like,
if anything, I didn't love that subplot where it just made me like Izzy less, as opposed to like, liking other people more. Like, it didn't bring anybody up. It just made me like Izzy less.
Right. It brought Izzy down. And the Izzy did apologize and kind of do the right thing at some point, but that just brought her back to status quo as opposed to improving her.
Yeah. The cool thing is Billy doing Billy things where he's like, let me just ipso facto sciencey jargon figured it out.
Yeah. I have no problem with any of that. That was lovely.
Yeah. so him figuring out how to use the keys, using the staff, doing all this, kind of tucking himself away for a bit while they look for food.
Oh, this is when they're fighting the monsters, and it also didn't quite make sense because like, oh, if they eat, they get huge, but there's food on the tree, so why weren't they eating that? Like, it all just seemed a little weird. And this reminds me of something from Dr. Seuss, that little plant.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Doctor Who.
I mean, it could be Doctor Who too in terms of like minimalist.
To be honest, actually, this whole scene very much has like campy Doctor Who vibes.
I could see that. There was that episode with David Tennant, or it was a movie special, whatever, where he was on that desert planet in the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right about that. But this specific thing right here, I feel like is like
it is a little, Seussian. I almost said Whovian by accident, but
Seussian.
Why did they have to go out again? Didn't they have to like plant something to get a signal? Yeah, that was what it was. Yeah, so I guess it had some meaning.
It did. It was convenient that the little maggot decided to eat the thing and get big and immediately try to fight them, and like it's just like it was very convenient.
Yeah, one thing we noted, I remember when we were watching that we were really confused by, is they had their like dinosaur idols destroyed, but they can still summon the swords.
Yeah, that was weird.
I guess is sure.
Yeah, like it's in the pocket. I guess it's in the base, but like it's just like.
Well, I guess it's just not tied to their powers.
Yeah, it's the base's technology that's loosely kind of connected to the morphing grid, but not in the same way.
Well, I guess it can be connected to the grid and just not be connected to the Dino Fury powers.
Well, but I mean, those are Dino Fury weapons.
Oh, yeah, and he has keys. That was another thing. They have all these keys that they're not using.
Yeah. Did they? Well, they didn't have the transport key because that got stolen or broken.
But they still have 99 MacGuffin keys.
Oh, I know. Oh, this was a good example of these two reporting. We were saying how like you can see that, and they were used properly.
Yeah.
And then another little fun cameo.
It wasn't
Devin, but
yeah, it was a thing that we talked about also when we were watching, where, yep, all the other Rangers are bad. We need you to come save us. Because they were saying like, oh, Rangers got captured, oh this, oh that, and it's like, well, I guess the current 5 or 6 Rangers need to go save everybody because they can't do it with 28 other Ranger teams. So
or maybe not quite 28 because some are from other dimensions, but certainly more than one.
Yeah, at least over 20. We have over 20 at our disposal.
Right. And this is him trying to pretend to be good again, even though he's not.
It also insinuates that the Mighty Morphin team is nothing without Billy.
Sure, yeah. Which there's truth to that. I mean,
to an extent, I guess. But
like the Turtles without Donatello. Like if it comes to a fight, they can win without Billy. But if they need,
so they're doing is fighting an invasion.
No, but I'm saying if they need any kind of strategy or technology or anything like that, like if it's just martial arts, then they will win. If they need anything else, they need Billy or Donatello.
We have the frame up, and I wanted to talk about how Ollie doubled down on just being terrible. Yes. Where he just flat out lied to his mom, like, "Oh, I need your help," and then he's like, "I'm still evil."
Yeah.
See y'all later.
Yeah. Evil Ollie is good. I like Evil Ollie.
I'm a big. It almost makes me not like good Ollie just because I love Evil Ollie so much more.
I can understand that completely.
Because he's still the same character. He just leans more into what I felt like he should have been from the get-go.
Maybe he should have been this and then gotten redeemed at some point. And
maybe. Like, I find him more evil than Tarek was, even when Tarek was trying to, like, terraform the planet.
Because Tarek sort of had, like, a greater good idea of what he was doing, or he was wronged, or he had motivations, whereas Ollie's just kind of like, I'm just a jerk. Like, I just like evil, which makes sense because he's magically evil. It's not something that happened in his life.
I don't know. It could be one of those things where there needed to be a little bit of evil inherently for it to come up, but...
Sure, well, maybe. But, I mean, arguably everybody has some evil in them.
But we talk more in these kind of scenes of, oh, what are we going to do? There's stuff going on. How are we going to do it through the power of friendship,
leadership stuff?
Yeah.
While Ion is just pouting and like trying to cook. We can't cook this stuff.
Cooking things. This part, I'll be honest, was mildly forgettable for me.
I mean, it's literally just Ion being upset, even though everyone's upset, and her kind of trying to cheer him up.
being like, "Oh, this food's not the worst thing I've ever had in my life."
Right.
Talking about how to fix. Oh, this was the big thing. Billy needs to be gone for most of the episode because he's going to fix something and give us new powers.
Yes.
But yeah, so he does that. We talk more about what we're gonna do. Honestly, just like scroll it. Because all this stuff, they do a trick to beat the worm monster. No one cares.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I forgot about this terrible part on the bike. He's riding a bike, a literal bike that I guess they had.
Yeah, I don't.
And then back to Zed.
This was cool. I liked this dynamic. Zed with Evil Ollie, I think, is one of the better dynamics of the whole season.
I agree. It actually it made sense as like sort of an apprentice master thing where like Zed doesn't really care about Ollie, but he's like, I want you to be more competent. If you're gonna be evil already.
Yeah, exactly. Like he mentors him enough because he knows he can get stuff done. Whereas all the other villains, even when they do get stuff done, he's like, you could literally be destroyed and I don't care.
Meanwhile, Billy's done with his big science project.
I figured it out, y'all. We got new powers again.
Yep. And he said, go ahead.
Oh, you first.
I like also that he's like, I kept it with the dino theme just because it felt right, which is arguably a better version of there's a simple explanation for that, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Why not? You know,
I appreciate that one throwaway line of, I used your base power, which is why the dinosaurs are still involved, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, you addressed it. So thank you for that.
That's what we always say. Just write a couple lines to justify it. But then there's the staff, and we're like, what's with the staff?
They're like, well, with that, we're going to have these orbs that you're going to do some weird kind of, party tricks like jacks with, and you're going to morph. But I like this. The costumes, I don't hate as much seeing them in action as we did in the stills, where I know you absolutely despise them.
I still do not like the costumes. The general design, like on paper, aren't that bad. The execution, like whoever designed them on paper, not my favorite suits of all time, but not my least favorite. They're fine. They're a good evolution from where we were.
Just the inserts are bad.
The foam inserts are terrible, and I can't even pretend to like put a nice spin on it. It was a bad idea, and they look bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I can agree with that. I like the explanation of, wait, why am I the Red Ranger? Oh, the grid picked you because the grid picks who's what.
Some people I've seen online have a problem with that, but I don't see why. Like, how does anybody become the Red Ranger? She's the leader. Who cares? Not who cares, but like, why is this any weirder than any other Ranger? Like, I don't want to get into political, but like, it is like, is it because she's a girl that people are questioning it more? Like,
no, I think the writing made her the Red Ranger as opposed to a lot of those detractors saying that she didn't earn it, which I understand that criticism. The thing to me is the Morphin Grid, similar to the Force in Star Wars, is something that is an established entity and that you could write around for the end of eternity because it just is what it is. Right. Both things are entities, and if somebody wants to say they just did it and that's how it goes, that's how it goes. Why is TJ a Red Ranger when he's given those powers? Then he's given Blue Ranger powers because those powers aren't mystical and part of the grid. They use the grid as a conduit, but they're man-made. With this,
why was Rocky the Red Ranger when clearly Tommy was the new leader?
All that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I guess that's my point of like whatever issue somebody might have with this. It's nothing new. It's nothing new.
It is what it is. We use Sentai footage except for this season. Deal with it. Like, it's fine. Of all the things to complain about, that ain't it. But I do like the new powers. I like the new weapons. I like that Ollie is still not a part of this team, and maybe he will be, and maybe he won't be.
And I like that Black has the cyborg arm even when he's in Ranger mode.
Yeah.
Originally, everybody thought it was like a dino armor kind of thing, and then it quickly became, oh no, that's his arm.
Which another thing you brought up after we saw that is, so secret identities are nothing now for Javi. Why are we still having them?
Yeah, because he has a robot arm. Aside from the fact that the Ranger has a robot arm that looks exactly the same, you have a better prosthetic than anybody on the planet. What? Yeah. Like, how did that happen? And then there's all kinds of ethical things of like, shouldn't you share this technology with the world? But
I think it's insinuated that Billy does, because they're like, oh, we have Cranston Industries here. I'll give you the latest Cranston Industries prosthetic.
So it is a thing where like they just have better technology than we have in our world, even though.
Correct. Yeah. Same reason Grid Battle Force uses energy that's made up that we don't have.
That's true.
So what you're saying is,
oh, you don't get a Ninja Seal for that.
I did. I already accepted
I liked
it.
This episode. It was my least favorite of the 3.
Yes.
That's not saying it's terrible, but the first 2 were like, I got nothing bad to say about these. This is great. This one's like, okay, it's pretty good, but you know.
If I had to retitle this episode, it would be called Exposition Worm Hunt.
Ooh, okay. Or rebranded new marketing.
New suits who dis. American only # season 3.
Red Lady, why you mad?
I have a thing about that we'll talk about in a future episode that I find funny, with Amelia now being red instead of the Pink Ranger.
We're at 16 minutes. If you could do it quick, we could do it right now.
No, because it's a spoiler for future stuff. But we will talk about it later because this has been Action Activate, and I am the big dog.
I continue to be Gazbot.
And to the power. See you all later.
And I'll do the end credits. We should be back. This is going to go up. Today's Tuesday. We're recording. It's going to go up a little later. I try to have the schedule of it goes up Tuesday morning. We don't always hit that, but at the very least, we try to do it weekly. And we should theoretically have another one up next week, right? Unless I'm forgetting.
In theory, yeah.
Okay.
Except for next Tuesday being Halloween.
Well, we'll have to record before Tuesday then.
Well, we'll have to see how the cards are played.
Okay, see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Later.